everyone, welcome back to Loud and Proud. I have a bunch of panty and bra lovers here. Their name is Highway Sunrise. How are you guys today?
Ooh, good.
Better after that intro.
Thanks for having us.
Well, no, thanks for coming on. This is all about you guys. So, who is Highway Sunrise? Where do you guys hail from, and what do you do for a living? Like, what is this?
Ben?
Dan knows this story pretty well. Go ahead, Dan.
I was just gonna turn it over to you, pal. So basically, I guess the band started in 2014, 2015 with Ben and I playing duo shows. And we were playing with another cover band, and we were coming back from Toronto one night, and literally it's like 6:30 in the morning on the 401, and the name Highway Sunrise kind of popped into our heads while we were ripping down the road. It's what we started calling it ever since then. And
well, we were searching for a name, and Dan just literally said, "What about Highway Sunrise?" Because we're literally watching the sunrise.
Yeah.
As we're driving. So it was like, yeah, that's a catchy name. That's cool. It works. It's kind of falls into almost country rock, because it's sort of that's where we were kind of going.
So
with
you
our
guys
sound,
are a country rock band. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, primarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
like we've had gigs where clients have said to us, you can play anything you want, just don't play country. And then we've had other gigs where clients have said, all we want to hear is country. So we'll play 3 sets worth of country, and
That's pretty cool. So you guys have, if you could mix it, or you could do just rock or just country.
yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. But for the most part, we do we'll flip over from rock to like more of a crossover, and then into a country pop or country rock.
Okay.
Covering anything from the old classics to Morgan Wallen.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I see your drummer is not there today because he's out on another gig.
No, I'm the drummer.
That's
Oh, sorry, you're the drummer. I'm sorry. So who's out on another gig?
Our
lead guitar
player.
Oh,
lead
that
guitar.
slut.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. What a slap in the face, guys. Come on.
I know. He called me last night. He's like, "I'm really sorry, buddy, but they moved my start time up and I can't make it, And I said, "You're out of the band." And no, I didn't.
All right.
This
So
goes on this permanent record, though.
we have Daniel Joseph on the top left. Introduce yourself.
Hey, yeah, I'm Daniel Joseph. I'm the bass player. So kind of to take over a little bit where Dan left off, it started as a duo, but then, things more, they were trying to get gigs where they, wanted to be bigger venues. And then I played with them separately in different bands before. And then I came along as the bass player to make it like a power trio. And that's where I come in. And then Chris, unfortunately, can't speak for himself. But then we were like, wow, this trio sounds really good. Can you imagine with a guy that can really, like, Ben's a fantastic guitar player, but like this guy, he's a shredder. He's really good at, plays metal, plays country, obviously. But like I say metal because when you think of metal, you think of this really fast, scaly kind of guitar player, and that's where all the theory comes in. And he studied music in Concordia and et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
So that's where he comes in. So I'm the third member of the band. And I came in to support the low end, give the band literally a base, a foundation. That not that it didn't have a foundation with Dan on drums, but the bass really comes in and helps with that foundation. And that's what I do. I play with about 5 or 6 other different projects in Ottawa, but my main gig is Highway Sunrise.
Slut. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Let's say 80-20. I cheat 80, let's say 20% of the time. 80% of the time.
Being musical whores, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So you're all
sort of
music whores, all of you.
Yeah.
Just to glue this all up, though.
I'm guilty.
So Dan Dan and I, drummer Dan, we're doing the duos, and like Dan Joseph said, he called me somewhere while we were doing that, and he wanted to. He was excited about putting together a project, and committing to it. So that was exciting. And then I said, well, if we want to do that, I I know a really good guitar player who would really fit the bill well. And he was friends with my wife. They used to work together. So I already knew him prior, but he had a video that he put up on Facebook that was, I think, a Brad Paisley guitar solo that really blew me away. But he was always in the back of my mind. So then I suggested him, and then we had an audition, and we loved him, and yeah, it's been like that ever since. So, and also, I think we got together as a full band around 2016. So it's been about 8 years
Wow.
since the band started. Yeah, it's been
Eight
a long time.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've already
Longest,
known each other.
the
Like
longest
I've known these
relationship
two
I've ever
guys.
had.
I've known these two guys for almost 20 years. You know, we had played together in many trios, or even Blues Fest together a couple times.
Nice.
So yeah, we've known each other a long time. So it was only made sense to, you know, get
So,
together.
so
So
you guys are like old and young because you've been together for such a long time and known each other even longer, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
What is so currently right now with, pre-pandemic, what were your gigs like? Like, where were you going?
uh,
Like pre-pandemic, we were busy. Like it's basically bounced back. It's almost the same thickness of gigs now
Okay.
compared to what it was, but a lot of the smaller gigs, like the duos and trios, have all been converted to solo guitar players, singers. There aren't as many smaller gigs that way, but all the bigger gigs, they're all back. All your fairs, your beer fests, so that type of thing, those are all back. We were playing the country fair circuit in 2018, 2019, doing, shows in Navan and Richmond and Metcalfe, this kind of thing. And it's a different ball game when it comes to doing shows like that compared to playing in bars, obviously,
Yeah.
but the bars are what keep us alive through the winter, you
Yeah.
can't pick up a festival gig in January or February. So no, it's been good. Like the other thing that happened since COVID is guys like Dan Joseph and myself, we've had to sub ourselves out to all kinds of different bands. Whenever Ben and Chris get a solo gig on the weekend, we've got to find work for ourselves. So then we
Yeah.
usually hook up with other singer-songwriters in town, and we'll do a duo or we'll do a trio, and yeah.
Now, are you guys doing any originals at all, or you're just strictly a cover band?
right now it's strictly a cover band.
Yep.
I mean, I've been dabbling in some writing, but we just literally started that. Like I just showed the guys some new songs last weekend. So
Okay.
it's really new, but we're primarily an event band right now, and we do mostly covers. Yeah.
So you're talking about, you got some festivals, Beer Fest and the fairs and all that coming in. I think this summer is where there's going to be a majority of that happening, right? Because last year
Oh, yeah.
there were some, but now this year it looks like it's going to hit really hard. Are you guys going to Blues Fest at all this year?
We're not in it, but
We're
Okay.
not performing.
No.
I want to go see Nickelback. I'm not gonna lie. I've always wanted to see that band.
That's cool. I forgive you.
Yeah, like they put on a great show live. And I think they're more hated. They're only hated by Canadians around the world. They're like known as this big, massive rock band. I'd love to go check them out in Blues Fest. But yeah,
So-
we're like Ben was saying, we're not performing this year. But
Yeah.
they really own. Like we would be able to put together a set of originals, but it would have to be like a brand that's kind of already in motion, like to just
Yeah.
put it together a show just for Blues Fest. Well, that's not what they're interested. They want someone like a brand, someone that's something that's alive, that's
Yeah.
got some traction. Oh, these guys are doing well. They're original. We can put them on the bill. They do have a mandate to put a certain amount of local artists on the bills, but
Mhm.
it's not like we would want to do it, properly, not just like, hey, let's put our name in the and see if they pick up. Like we just do covers. They're not really going to hire us based on that. But
Gotcha.
I mean, that's not to
yeah,
say
we
that
don't have a product.
exactly right. When we've played together in the past, like Ben was saying, we have played together. It was Ben Cooper's originals, and with other acts too. But I was in the Ben Cooper band. He had put together a set for a while. It was a crafted, product. Like it wasn't just like an application thrown down a pipeline.
So how do you feel, Dan, about playing the different styles of music? You know, your bass playing on country and then some rock. How do you feel about that?
I like it. You know, it's funny. It's a great question because, you know, I grew up listening to a lot of rock, like Chili Peppers, bass heavy artists, if you
Yeah.
will. And then I got into the like really, you know, crazy rabbit hole there with the really I don't know if you guys know Victor Wooten, really virtuoso bass
Yes.
players that
Yes. Victor
kind of
Wooten.
they're
Yeah.
in a style of their
Yeah.
own. Marcus Miller. It's like it's
Totally.
not jazz, it's not rock, it's not so
Yeah.
it's just their own solo stuff. Call it what you want to call it. But as for country, I didn't really like grow up listening to it, but then when I started playing with this band, and even a few bands before, this one big country bar in Ottawa. I don't know if I can say their name, I'll just say it. Crazy Horse. Yeah, anyway, so we
Yep.
started playing at their bar, and they're like, the only big thing is 50% country. So they actually have it like, that's what they told us at the beginning. They're like, it has to be at least half country. So like, okay. So then I was with this other band that got hired to start playing this bar, and I'm like, damn it, we got to learn country. And then I had to learn all these cool country songs that I hated, but then I started to love, man. And it's weird, like there's really something really, how to explain, there's a genius behind the simplicity of country music. And
There
it's
is.
not like, you know, just easy, like they call them cowboy chords and G C
Yeah.
D kind of stuff. Like there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and that's where the, you know, the rhythm a lot comes in. And you know, you listen to what the bass players are doing to support the singing and the guitars and all that, and the songwriting in itself. Like the you know, the rhythm section's got a really big job to do. And it's cool to listen to, like I said, that simplicity has really opened my eyes to like a less is more approach.
Yeah.
And
It's true.
country it's a lot like that. It's like, don't play too much, when, you know, do know your role, but like you're part of a bigger picture, you know. And it's really cool to, in that specific style, that really opened my eyes. Yeah.
Well, there's also musically with country, as a musician myself, I like to play the different styles. There's also a feel to it, right? There's a
Yeah.
specific feel, there's a specific sound, and if you don't do it
Yeah.
right, it's gonna screw up the song. It's
Yeah.
just not. It's
100%.
like anything else. There's a technique that you have to sort of relearn and go. You know, people think, oh, it's just boom, 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 boom. There's more
Yeah.
to it than that. There's a lot more
Way
to it than
more.
that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up with all styles of music. I'm mostly, you know, I was a progressive rock guy,
Right.
and I had to do some covers before when I was in a previous band in the 70s. I'm sorry, the band did 70s covers only, and that's a
Okay.
lot of disco. You know, you had a lot of
Yeah.
disco and pop
Yeah.
rock back in the 70s, and then they were doing Elvis too. And you know, listening to the 70s Elvis stuff, I grew and I was like, holy shit. The
Yeah.
musicians in the Vegas stuff were outstanding. Like, my goodness, because you got that country, then you got that rock, you got some swing, it's all put together. So I totally relate to what you're saying. So you grew
Yeah.
musically.
Yeah. Just by playing less, if that makes any sense, you know. Like,
Well, of course. No,
yeah.
you simplified some stuff, but
Yeah.
it's simple's not always easy.
No, 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 no. And
It
it's a
is. Now,
fun
what about you, Ben? What's your background?
Uh, how far do you want to go? How do you mean?
Let's start with how you started into music.
Uh, well, I started into music. I was really young when I was a bit. You brought up Elvis. I was a huge Elvis fan, and I caught one of your videos earlier today. I wanted to see your show, and I saw you were doing "What Now, My Love," and you were playing drums on that one.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The one from Hawaii was great.
yeah.
So
Thank you.
that was really the big big thing for me was, you know, the like for a lot of people was Elvis, the Beatles. If it wasn't for Elvis, I wouldn't be singing today. Um, and then yeah, I started playing guitar around the same age, around 12, taught myself, and then yeah, started playing professionally when I was 17. I was still in high school, and then just kept doing it all these years, and I'm blessed to have these guys with me now.
So you're just loving this ride right now, and just, you know, this is what you do.
Yeah, I've been doing it professionally full time since 2009,
Oh
I think.
wow.
So somewhere there, 2000, maybe even 2007. I feel like. So yeah, it's been going a while.
I like to hear that because it's a tough business to be in, especially in Canada, right? It's not easy. It's
Well, and luckily Ottawa's been a great place for performing, because we do everything from events to backyard parties, weddings, to corporate events,
yeah,
to pubs. You know, so it's the city's been very good to us. You know, and we work with a lot of other companies as well uh, that we get hired through. You know, that could I mention them? Can I mention those
oh, you can mention
businesses?
anyone you want here. Yeah, absolutely.
Like Quality Entertainment, for one.
Okay.
They're a DJ company primarily, but they also do bands, and I don't even know if they are just DJ. Shouldn't say that, but
They're
they
an
do
entertainment
it.
event company. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks for getting my words out.
Sorry, buddy.
Darn drummers
Yeah. We're always sticking our 2 cents in, eh?
or stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ottawa's been good, been really good to us for that. So it's been able to. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do it full time. So it's been great.
Now, are you all doing this full time?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'm the
Yeah.
only one that's not. The other two are. I work in a restaurant a couple
Okay.
days a week to supplement. I mean, I play weekends, usually Thursday, Friday, sometimes Wednesdays. But
Yeah.
even if it's a busy week, it's 4 nights a week. So for me, I like to stay busy. I serve in a restaurant here in Ottawa, so it's great. It's been great. Give me the flexibility. And usually in the summer I'm only doing music, but in
Okay.
the thinner winter months, yeah, for me, it's also about just keeping occupied and obviously making money, but
Yeah.
keeping occupied is nice. As a bass player, I wouldn't have as many gigs as the busiest. The busiest bass player won't have as many gigs as the busiest singer.
Yeah.
Or so yeah, it is what it is. But I'm happy doing both. But obviously, music's where my heart is. That's obvious.
That's really cool. Now, what about the guy back there with the sticks? How long have you been playing it? Tell us a bit of your story too.
Well, I was, I think, 10 years old, and I saw my cousin's band play at a party for my uncle's 50th birthday party, and I was blown away that my cousin Steve could play the drums. I thought this was the coolest thing ever. And all summer long, I was like, man, this is so cool. I want to be a drummer. And then finally in, September of 1988, my parents bought me some drum lessons, and I'm still friends with my first teacher. And I
That's
went in
so
there, and
cool.
all I wanted to play was Metallica. It was double kick or nothing. And he's like, okay, that's great, but what about all the other styles like jazz and funk and reggae and rock and country and pop? And he kind of opened my eyes a bit to the whole musical spectrum of what the whole scene is all about, right? And
That's
then
cool.
I took lessons for probably the next 3 or 4 years, different teachers, different programs. And then when I was in high school, I was in the music room morning, noon, and night. I played in the jazz band, the concert band, that type of thing. And then when I was 16, I was playing my first bars, clubs back in the day when you could still smoke in them. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I played with original projects that we've had our hearts set on conquering the world. We're doing Canadian Music Week and North by Northeast, that type of thing. And that's actually where I bumped into Ben, because I'd seen Ben around town. This is probably like 2002, 2003. And we were at some showcase event in Toronto. I was there with one band and he was there with his band. And we bumped into each other at the Fairmont North York, whatever that big giant hotel is where they have all the conferences are. And he's like, hey man, how's it going? I'm like, I'm good, man. You guys are here for this. He's like, yeah, I just saw this showcase. We were shooting the shit. And Ben said to me at the time, he goes, you and me, we're going to work on a project together sometime in the future. And I was like, for sure, I'm down. And I thought nothing of it, and fast forward a few more years. And by the time we eventually started playing together, I'd already toured Canada with a rock reggae band from Halifax to BC
Oh,
and back
wow.
again. And it's the difference between playing in a cover band and playing in an original band is at the time in the mid to late 2000s, there were still the little last vestiges of record labels that were still interested in you, but the way the development deals were laid out we'd already started the ball rolling with all of our internet stuff, our website, our YouTubes, all the rest of it.
Mhm.
And the minute you sign that contract, they want 50% of every single royalty you've already put into the business. And we had
Yeah.
6 contracts come across our desk at the time, and we're like, our lawyer just kept telling us, don't sign these. Like you'll never work again if this thing flops. So, you
That's
know,
true.
and now the internet has become the great level playing field, right? Anybody can put a song on Spotify and get 47 downloads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Have
You
you,
know?
so here's a question for you. Since you guys have been in this a long time, and this is great. You're all seasoned musicians. Most of you are doing this for a living now.
Yep.
How do you feel the internet, YouTube, and everything else has changed the music industry for people who wanting to get into the music industry?
I think
Hmm.
just judging by you know, whether you're on TikTok, I think TikTok's probably the big one. I think it's changed a lot because it especially for, I think a lot of musicians are waking up to the idea that you can utilize TikTok or so other social media as a reach
Mhm.
to reach people, because everybody's on the same playing field when it comes to that application. So I think, because you can post something and I think as long as it's entertaining and it shows some sort of value, then you can get a pretty far reach. There's a couple of guys out there that are killing it right now, and they're independent artists, and
Mhm.
they're getting 4 million plays per month,
Wow.
which you can equate to. It's now that's the other thing is that there's you have to get a large reach or create more of a large catalog
Yeah.
Mhm.
of music so that it can reach or that even earn a living. It's ironic that this come up because I just saw a trailer for the movie The Playlist. It's about Spotify's and uh, the difficulties of trying to make an income as a
Mhm.
musician with the 0.0003 cents
Yeah.
per
Yeah. Yeah.
stream. And but regardless, so if you were to get like 4 million or 1 million streams would equal to probably about $3,000, which seems crazy. But people are doing this on TikTok, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the easiest way today to get the reach than it would have been years ago, if anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Ben, yeah, you nailed it. Obviously, one thing for me that you asked a good question with the internet. What we could stay here probably for 10 hours talking about how the internet's changed the music industry. For
Mhm.
me personally, I mean, Ben, you have so many points. And to add to that, it's just that like I feel personally that because of the easier access to people, anybody putting music, you're gonna have what I've noticed is there's a lot more. Well, obviously, there's just
Yeah.
more music, so there's so much more to listen to. So, like, back in the day, I'm going to sound like an old man, but when I was a kid, and it was like, "Yo, have you heard the new song by this guy?" And you're like, "No, how would I have heard that? Driving? I don't drive. I'm a kid, or
Yeah.
it's driving to wherever. Or if you had a disc man, which was an expensive thing, or a Walkman that you had to buy the actual tape, physical tape, So right now, it's like I feel there's so much more music to listen to. Now, again, that you take the good with the bad, right? Obviously, a
Yeah.
lot of people say, well, you might have heard this, oh, music was so much better back in the day. No, you were only just able to listen to a smaller percentage of it that
Exactly.
was dictated by these huge producers. They're the ones who decided what went on the radio. So if you're just listening to music on the radio, you don't have the choice. It's going to
Yep.
be the better music, you know what I mean? Like, quote
Oh yeah.
unquote. But
I
now you can listen to anything, right? So you have access to, yeah, garbage. You have access to great music. You have access to everything. And like I said, there's so many more opportunities and so many more. I don't know. My iTunes just started playing all those.
It heard you
Uh,
talking about it, Dan.
yeah, it started playing "Walk This Way" by
Well,
Aerosmith
it's
of
true
all the
what you're
songs.
saying is that
And
we are
anyways, yeah.
now exposed to a broader view of the different musics come from around the world, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
And you're not just stuck to like before in my days where it was just a freaking radio station, where you were just tuned into the radio station all day long, but that's all the music you knew because that's all you were getting. Whereas now with the internet, well, you can get out there, but there's other countries now that are appreciating the North American music, and we're appreciating, some of the music that comes from
Yeah.
Asia and parts of Europe and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
We're exposed to a lot more than before, and it broadened our horizons. It really has.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Now, so you guys are out there and you're doing events.
Yep.
You do stuff. How does one reach you?
Primarily through our website, social media.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is
Yeah.
I'm going to have all your social media links and all that sent over to me by one of you. Maybe Dan Loach can do that. And I'm going to put that down in the video description on the YouTube channel, and everything will be there, and that'll be shared on TikTok
cool.
and everywhere else. But what functions do you guys do a lot of?
Weddings are big. I mean, obviously weddings are only in you generally people get married in the summer, so it's only
Yeah.
a small. So that's like our, we do big, like weddings are big. We do a lot of like private events. I mean, we've got like a lot of corporate barbecues or
Yeah.
private corporate functions. Corporate functions in general can mean so much, but if it's not limited to outdoors, we do any kind of corporate function. Conventions will be the background band at a convention, or we could be the main reception band for the big party.
Yeah.
Often when there's a convention in town, there's going to be the big gala on Friday or whatever. It's a 5-day thing. It's
We play red black stadiums for the football teams.
Okay.
We'll play a lot of those. We've played Civic, or what's it called now? Is it
Ottawa
the Civic
67s?
Yeah, we played the 67s games, bars, and yeah. So
you
like Ben
guys
was
are
saying,
obviously full production.
yeah. Oh yeah, we do all our
Okay.
sound too.
Depending
Ben's
on the gig, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've had gigs where, we've got a wedding coming up where the client wants an extra piano player. They really want the sound of a piano. So we're like, okay, we know a piano player. We'll add our friend Nick.
Oh, so you can, you know what? That's good information, because it makes you a little more versatile, right? In the way of getting into certain gigs. And that's what I'm trying to highlight here is now, we spoke about a lot of stuff, but now I really want to highlight the band and the stuff to get out there, to get your name out there, to, get people involved in, oh, who are these guys? I might want them for my private function of some sort, right? And, being that you're rock country, you're catering to a really two big groups, right? Because those are the two biggest groups.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
and sometimes it's happened before where they don't want any country. Where they're like, we're not fans, and we're like, so we just swing it the other way. And because we were primarily a rock band before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's easy to do that as well. So, yeah, the versatility is there for sure.
And that's important. And so you guys have something unique going on, because there aren't many full-time musician bands such as you guys who are out there doing this. There's not very many out there, not in this area anyways.
Well, that makes us feel good. It means we still have a little bit of a monopoly.
Well, I wouldn't call it a monopoly. I will say you have an edge.
That's good. I like that. Yeah, we'll take that.
You've got an edge there, because you can be you can be a little more available, and this is what you do, right? I used to be in a big band. We were 13 members, and that's what we did. We did corporate events, and that was the 70s cover band. We had a horn section and everything. So I know what's involved in that. And it was like, it can be daunting sometimes, but with 13 people, it gets even worse when you have, so many conflicting minds going. But so you guys really have an edge here in Ottawa. If someone wants to get you out of town, what's involved with that?
I mean, we just a little bit more like fees. Like let's say there's a wedding in Kingston, for example. Yeah, we just factor in a little bit of travel expenses to the fee. It's not really logistically. It's done. Dan pulls a trailer with his truck, so we have all the gear in the trailer, and then we can either carpool or, depending, take like not four separate vehicles. But yeah, we could travel easily, no problem. We've done gigs for the Conservative Party in Toronto.
Oh wow!
They had a big gala, or they do every year, and they had us once for their, I don't know, a big party. Anyways, and so we did. Yeah, we came in from Toronto, drove up, did 2 gigs. I think we stayed 1 or 2 nights in a hotel and then drove back.
Okay.
But we just factored it into
Yeah,
it.
and like last year we just did the Muskokas last year. That was a lot of fun. You know, those expenses just are they're just put into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we've
You
had
know,
a
the
client.
travel.
Yeah, go ahead.
What about the Quebec
Sorry.
side? Like
Oh, yeah.
Montreal, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no
Yeah.
You
problem.
can go out
We
there
were,
because some listeners will be from all over, right? So they're gonna want to know who you are and where you can go.
Oh,
So-
listen,
Yeah,
like,
like
let's be clear. We
we were
had
in
a
Mont
client.
Tremblant last year. Mont
Yeah.
Tremblant.
We had a
Yep.
we had a client ask us about
Yeah.
BC. She wanted to know, she was getting married in BC. Now we just said, listen, like it would be it would be a lot more expensive, but we could make it work. And then we were calling backline companies. That it fell through for, you know, no bad reason. We just, you know, I think we all went with different options, but the talks were there. We'll go to BC if you guys want us to. When it comes into traveling across the border, then you need to get visas involved.
Yep,
So we're
been
not
there.
really advertising that we play in the States, even though the States
Yeah.
are only 45 minutes away from us. Like for us to do it legally, and obviously we're going to do it compliantly and legally, we'd have to apply for P2 US performance
Yeah,
visas.
I've
And
been
we're
there.
not
It's
going to,
it's it's a hassle, man.
it's not worth it for one gig, really.
Yeah.
It's worth it if you're doing a string of gigs or a tour, but it's not worth it for 1 or 2 shows.
I can tell
like
you
one-off
one
shows.
thing that I did that was worth it was a little bit of casino circuit in the northern New York state, like
Okay.
Akwesasne and all that. Man, that
Right.
was a blast. And I tell you, it was worth it because it's fun. If you ever get invited or you know you're looking to go, look up the casino circuit in the northern states. I tell you that it's a good market. Akwesasne, I can tell you right now that these guys took care of everything for us. They guided us through our visas and everything. Like if you ever want, I would suggest that if you ever wanted to go abroad, check out the Akwesasne Mohawk Casino. These guys, and they have a beautiful stage, lots of room. You're treated like royalty. And I tell you, I was there and I did a 2-night gig with my previous band, big band. And I tell you, we had a bus to go down. It was so cool. It's,
Wow.
Where is it?
I've gambled there.
yeah, the
What
Akwesasne
city? What
Mohawk
city?
Casino, great little place. And I tell you,
Akwesasne, it's the casino. I
Ogdensburg,
don't
New
know
York.
it's in
Yeah.
Ogdensburg, but Akwesasne Native Indigenous Reserve
Yep.
is interesting. It's in Canada, US, Quebec, and Ontario, and
Yep.
it's a reserve. So the whole, like, if you have someone navigate you through the bureaucracy, because you're in 2 countries and 2 provinces,
Yep,
all on
they
one.
do it.
It's an island. It's an island basically. And a
I'm
chunk of it
telling you,
is
you should try
yeah.
it because
Yeah.
I would be in touch with them and ask them, you know, if you can be put on a roster for possible shows because they have events all the time. And
Right.
I
Yeah, I
tell you,
definitely will look into that.
it's
Yeah.
something I think you guys would fit in really well in there. And like I said, we were treated like royalty. We had our hotel rooms, we were fed like crazy. It's worth it. So, I mean,
Okay.
now do you guys do casino circuits here at all or
Yeah, we
Like,
played the
The Regis
the
Carlton Raceway, yeah.
yeah.
Or
Okay. So
whatever
not
is
in
it still
Gatineau
called
or
that?
Toronto or Thousand Islands or anything like that yet?
No,
No.
just
like
the
They're
we
one.
fun
played those
gigs.
areas, just not the casinos.
Yeah, I get it.
it's the one thing I find truly amazing about casinos is every time the guys in the band hit an open C chord, it's the strangest effect I've ever heard on stage because it goes bing, 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 bing. All the machines are all making the exact same note. And then when the guys make a chord change, it's like, whoosh, you're right back in the song.
That's
So
funny.
do you feel like Oprah Winfrey? You win something and you win.
Yeah.
It's just surreal when you're behind the kit. It's like everything just stops. It's like all the sounds on stage meet with all the sounds in the room for like
It's true.
one
That's
chord.
true.
And it's back into the
That's true.
song.
That's
It's
true.
really funny.
Well, listen, guys, this was awesome. I can't thank you enough. I really
you.
like what you're doing. I'm impressed. I really am. I'm going to tell the viewers out there, you know what? You got to check out Highway Sunrise. I'm going to put a link to all their things in the description of the YouTube video, and that'll be shared amongst other platforms. But guys, I can't thank you enough. Congratulations on what you're doing, especially, you know, most of you being full-time musicians. like, wow, kudos to you, because it's not easy. And I have mad respect for you guys right now. I really do.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having
Thank
us,
you.
dude. I really
Yeah,
I
appreciate
thank
it.
you
Yeah.
for coming
We
down.
love what
and
you
I-
do, and thanks for
you.
having us for sure.
I'm happy you guys came on. This was awesome, and I'm looking forward to posting this in the next couple of days for you, and we'll be in touch.
That's great.
Sounds good.
Have
We'll do the
yourself a
cross.
great day.
You too.
You too.
Man.
Cheers.
Later, guys.
See you guys.